Hey, everybody, welcome to Healed Whole Called Podcast. Second live today because, why not do all the things? So, I'm Wendy Melrose, founder of Resilience Press, where we believe God redeems our stories and uses them to bring healing and purpose to others. This is where we have real conversations about healing, resilience, and faith, the calling that comes from life's hardest seasons. And if you're joining us live, say hello. And in the comments, tell us where you are watching from. Today, I'm honored to welcome Marit Welker. Hey, Marit.
Hi.
So she is an amazing a woman who guides Christian mothers who has been cut off by their adult children and to understand their child, rediscover their identity as daughters of God, and learn how to thrive while waiting and preparing for possible reconciliation. Her message comes from a deeply personal place because she's lived both sides of this story. And as the rebellious younger woman and later the mother experiencing that same heartbreak, through God's grace, she experienced reconciliation and now helps other mothers hold on to hope, healing, and the identity while trusting God's timing. So, hello again. I'm so excited you're here with us today.
Thank you. It's great to be here. It's actually pronounced Marit.
Oh, whoops.
It's a Norwegian form of Margaret.
Oh, interesting. Well, you learn something new every day, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I said it wrong.
No problem. No one says it right.
So I would love to let's just jump right in. So your story touches something deep that many parents struggle to talk about because it's not like we want to admit that, one of our children may have chosen to walk away, right? So how do you hold on to faith when someone you love is still a part of your story, but no longer wants to be a part of your life?
Wow. Well, I think the first way is to recognize that God understands more than anyone.
Oh, sure.
I mean, God is Father, right? We are his children. And how many of us have rejected him?
Mm-hmm.
I think he understands more perfectly than we can imagine. And when your child walks away, it's very different than losing a child to death.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's the hope they'll come back, which is fabulous. I can't imagine what it's like to lose a child to death. It's just not something that I can comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
But I can say that this is a strategic choice on their part.
Sure.
It's a complete rejection on their part. And there's no funeral. There's no closure. Usually frequently there's no explanation.
Mm.
And you don't get the funeral, the casseroles. It's just boom and you're done. And then it shakes you to your core because shame is involved and it really wants to come in and hurt you and crush you. And so you don't talk about it. You don't bring it up to people. You don't draw attention to it.
Sure.
So it's a very lonely experience as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, and because the world is so full of judgment, they can be like, "Well, what did you do to make them walk away?"
Absolutely, absolutely. You
And
wanna know what I did?
yeah,
So do I.
sorry, it's not funny, but the way you
It
said
is funny. I never got a clear answer, but the Lord guided me to know what I did.
Mm.
And the Lord worked in my heart and in my mind and helped me to find out. But my story is kind of interesting in that my child chose to walk away, and I lost 5 family members that day. I lost them, I lost their spouse, and I lost their 3 beautiful little children. Those children had lived with me for 2 years over the last 3 years, 3.5 years. And so having them gone was gut-wrenching.
Sure.
I mean, they lived with me from birth, and, I was their best friend and I was Grammy, and suddenly I was not in their life.
Sure.
And there were a lot of chaos going on around it, a lot of things that were happening, and to protect my child's privacy, I don't go into those details.
No, you don't
But
have
I
to.
will say that there was a lot of pain.
Sure.
And that's actually something I wanna draw attention to before I move on, and that is that if a child does this to a parent, they are doing this most of the time, they are doing this because they are in a lot of pain. Their pain is real. And I'm gonna say here something that well, no, I'll say it in a little bit. But their pain is real, and that is crucial because, we can't just dismiss it. We
Mhm.
don't understand it. Parenting leaves you with blind spots. You do and say things that you're not aware of. I mean, I remember the day that my child came to me and told me that I raised her to be a feminist, and I was appalled because 'cause I'm not a feminist, and then I heard her definition of a feminist, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay." Um, Warrior for Christ maybe, but, yeah. Anyway, what happened was, um, our children are experiencing things we don't know about.
Mhm.
When we're telling our child at 1 in the morning, "Oh, just go to bed, tell me about it in the morning, you'll have more emotional bandwidth to deal with it then." And they're going through a major, um, crisis inside, maybe suicidal even. If we dismiss them, that hurts really deeply. And
Sure.
we don't know. We
Right.
just think they're being temperamental.
Right. Sure.
So, those kinds of things do happen in every single relationship.
Right.
So recognizing that, that child is experiencing real pain, even if you had a close relationship, and even if you were a great parent,
Mhm.
because you weren't a perfect parent,
Right. So
and
then,
they aren't a perfect child.
so share with us the season where God met you in this place. I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but that's where I think people forget that, they think they're alone, but our Creator is omnipresent and He is with you everywhere, and He's with your loved one who might have walked away. And and we can trust that He loves them more than we do.
Absolutely,
And so
absolutely.
remembering that. So share with us, any sort of beautiful insight or wisdom that Father God had shared with you in this time.
Well, during that time, I was already studying to become a life coach. I was already experiencing a lot of things in that realm. I'd been through some really heavy challenges in the past.
Hmm.
And through those, I had learned to be, uh, grateful and, strong and cheerful even in difficult problems. So
Hmm.
I had a lot of inner strength to work with.
Hmm.
What happened at this time, though, was that I found myself strong and holding steady and not thinking about it because it wasn't something I needed to work on right now, and knowing that it was the right situation,
Hmm.
but that it hurt terribly.
Hmm.
And I wasn't gonna feel it, because I was strong. And then I walked up to the guest room and I found my grandchild's favorite Hot Wheels toy behind the door jamb,
Um,
and I collapsed. And I was crying uncontrollably. I was weeping, and I hadn't felt like that in decades and decades. And I just prayed, and I prayed, and I said, "God, I don't know if I can handle this. I don't know if I can. Will you carry this pain for me?" And he did. And from that exact moment, that exact instant, it became a fact.
hmm.
"For dinner tonight?" "Well, we're having this." That's how painful it was. "We're having this." It was a fact and nothing more, like a date on a calendar. It just was a thing.
Hmm.
And I knew I probably wouldn't see my grandchildren again until they were adults, and maybe not then, but I would see them in the next life.
Hmm.
And I trusted in God, and He carried the pain. I didn't dwell on it. I didn't wanna risk it because I think the brain has the ability to go against that.
Sure.
I just went forward
Hmm.
without looking back, and He carried that for me. Now, that's not something I can promise people. Okay, I don't know why God gifted that to me. It was so powerful, so immediate. So God met me there and carried that pain for me, and it was a remarkable thing and such a blessing and such a witness to His mercy.
Hmm.
Then what happened, and here's where it gets good. I was able to learn what I was doing wrong.
Okay.
That's when I could see, oh, I understand. I was doing this and I had this attitude and I thought it was buried deeply and I wasn't living it. But no, it was there. And I recognized the things I had been doing that were hurting my son. And I made the changes. And those weren't easy changes because they were in my heart and in my attitude.
Mhm.
I was able to do it. And in so doing, I was able to understand and accept better his background, his circumstance, and also be a stronger daughter of God. Well, what happened next was that God worked with my child and worked on their hearts and brought them back. And it was really awkward at first, but God is in our hearts. He loves them more than we do, like you said. And He is caring for that child. Every person has a different path. Every person has a different journey in life. And here's an insight that has helped me. God does not push us to be good. Satan pushes us to be bad, but God lets us choose. God wants us to have our agency, our freedom to make those choices. And that's something that I have to also grant my children if I want to be a good parent.
Mhm.
And it's also something that I need to help my children to grow from where they are,
Mhm.
not in a way of pushing them, but inviting them,
Mhm.
just as God does for us.
Right. Well, I love that. The invitation. Um, so often I think we want to overcomplicate relationships. Obviously, my kids are still young. I don't have this experience of transitioning into adulthood relationships with them, right? But for anyone else who could be listening, and it was just either at the cusp of, that transition from teenage to adulthood, is there any words of wisdom you could share with them on how to make that? Is there a way to make it more smooth or a way to kind of like, because we're also like, clutch, clutch, clutch. And I know it's hard. Like I even told my kids, I'm like, I'm going to start opening my hands and then you guys loose a little more, but you're still under my authority. I can pull you back in if you get into a dangerous spot, because it's kind of like, we're going to be in this trust
Right,
building stage, right? And I think
right.
some parents skip that. They just go straight from, hold, 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 hold. Then they cut loose and they're like, wait, 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 I'm not ready for you guys to go. Right. But if we have to start allowing them to gain independence while they're still under our protection so we can
Mhm.
help them. So is there anything that
Yes,
you could
absolutely.
is there anything
Here's
you could tell someone based on what you've learned? Because everybody is in different stages. So if you could go back and tell your younger self or someone now who's like, hey, what could you tell me that I could like, what can I put into practice now? Not that we can promise prevention, but maybe a little bit smoother. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Well, here's something that, is really powerful. You need to teach them the best principles. Teach them the correct way, teach them the right, and I don't mean teach them good. That doesn't work. Do not teach them good. Teach them the best. Teach them God's way. Teach them to recognize right and wrong and light and dark.
Mm-hmm.
Teach them to recognize the wickedness of the world, because if they don't recognize that, they will get caught up in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, the last thing, and to me, this is the most important, is, and then allow them to govern themselves. By 10 and 12 years old, they should be learning that. And by 14 and 16, they should definitely be learning that. And you are there as a guide, but you are no longer there as a parent telling them what to do. You are not a parent to a child, you are a parent to a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Then you become a parent to an adult. And that is something that helps drive children away, is when we get over involved in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be there. My son went to college.
Mm-hmm.
And when he went, we were close. And he got to college and I dropped him off and I went home. And the next day college started and I wanted to hear what he had for breakfast, if he liked his roommates, how he decorated his room. I wanted to hear how class went. I wanted to hear what he thought of his professors. I wanted to hear what he thought of the buildings. Do you know what I heard?
Nothing.
"Well, tell me about your day." It was all right. You know? And
It's
and,
hard.
you're parenting an adult. Now, I would say 18 to 22, 23, during that range, it depends on the child, but you're doing more than parenting an adult. You're still guiding and shuffling them as an adult, shepherding them according to their needs.
Sure.
But then you have to let go.
Yeah.
And I don't mean not be a parent. I mean be a parent to an adult in the sense that you have to learn that as a skill. Your parenting days as you knew them are gone. And if
Yeah.
you keep trying to use the same principles, you're going to cause problems. Now, here's a couple things that I think are really helpful to know. The things that cause this include social media, therapy, new relationships. You can have a fantastic relationship with your child and be super close, and they meet someone new, and that person has a bad relationship with their parent, and that person feels threatened by you. Guess what happens? It's me or your parents. You choose. Well, my newlywed wife says I've got to pick. I pick her. I'm in love with her. And suddenly this perfect relationship disappears, sometimes without a single word. People are disappearing without telling their parents. They're just going. And I think that this going no contact is considered self-care. Lose your parents, find your life. It's a trend. There's other reasons, mental illness and many other reasons, but those are dominant ones that are not being addressed because trauma language has changed in society. And so instead of trauma meaning a gunshot to the chest, trauma now means a sprained ankle.
My mom said no.
I mean, you're not going to disown your mom because she says no, usually.
No, but no to the thing that might mean a lot to them.
Right.
Not just no to ice cream.
Right.
No to something really important to them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But what happens is people are on social media. How many hours a day do teenagers spend on social media?
Oh, anytime they're not.
Don't let your children have a phone, Wendy.
Right.
And if they have one, take it away. You will be evil, but your kids will be saved. It's something that is so damaging to the kids because they are filling their lives with it so many hours a day. Endless scrolling, and that scrolling is filling their mind because I have a strong interest in neuroscience because I had 13 concussions. Got one right now. And I have learned through that what our brain hears repeatedly, we believe to be true.
Sure.
And so what you're filling your life with is true in your mind. And that's something that is very dangerous. So if you're using strong words like, oh, my mom is such a monster, she said, no, guess what? Your brain believes she's a monster. Kind of like the day we moved our kitchen cabinets around and the dishes moved into one cupboard, were consolidated there, and the other one became bread and cereals. And for, I would say, almost a year later, people were still going to the wrong cabinet to get dishes. And our brain knows it's in the other cabinet, but the habit, what we repeated is where we're stuck.
Sure.
And our brain has to do that because it has two jobs. And one of those is to protect us. And one of those is to conserve energy because the brain uses more energy per organ than anything else in your body. And so we don't go to a cabinet and pull something out and say, what's this? We know it's a plate.
Right.
But we also develop those ruts and those patterns to save our energy. The problem is when we are repeating negative things, and this goes not just for the child, this goes for the mom. If you are repeating negative things about your child, how they used to be, or things they've done in the past, or the hopelessness of your situation, when that negativity is permeating your thoughts, what happens is that you will have a belief that it's true, not because it's true, but because it's familiar and comfortable. So that's what happens to our kids. And when social media and society changes and concept drift, have changed definitions of what is trauma, what is abuse, and now everyone's experienced trauma. Can you imagine if everyone went around and everyone has had a gunshot to the chest? No, we've all had a sprained ankle, and a few have had a gunshot to the chest. By changing the definition and accepting all of this um, mental illness, we are self-labeling and self-diagnosing, and therapists are believing what we say at face value. Studies have proven this over and over. About 40% of therapists in one prominent study noted that they believed what the person said, and frequently, and this is in other fields too, they are diagnosing the person who is not present with a mental illness sight unseen, which
Mm.
is so wrong
Yeah, it's dangerous.
and unethical, but also damaging. And they're telling them to leave their partner or to cut off from your parents. And so when somebody says, "Oh, my child cut me off," my first thought is, "Oh, did they have a new therapist?" My second is, "Oh, did they make a new friend or a new relationship?"
Mm.
And, the child believes it's real. It is real to that child. So it's important that we are gatekeepers for our brain. And here's the big one, that we question what we're thinking.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
And then,
So,
so
go
sorry.
ahead.
And that leads me into, as a mother, what you can do is you can follow God's example. And
Mhm.
I hope if you're listening and your child is gone, and especially if they've been gone a long time, please know this. Most of them come back eventually to revisit, and hopefully it will go well at that time. Don't be hopeless. About 80% do come back eventually. If you're ready and humble and don't respond when they come back and accuse you, you stand a good chance of developing some kind of relationship with them again.
Mm.
Okay? But here's the thing, is that with that hope, it might take a long time. I have
Sure.
a dear friend, and her child took almost 30 years. She came back twice in between, but
Mm.
almost 30 years. And now they have a great relationship. Do you know
Mm.
what the trigger was? I
Mhm.
don't know, but I know that they and their child are, separated, and I don't know if that impacted it, but it
Mm.
might.
Right.
Here's my philosophy is that if you will turn to the Lord, He can make your weak things stronger.
Mm.
He can help you find what the missing links are. He can help you reframe your mindset to find goodness. And that is what I teach. That's what my work is helping walk women through this process, because God doesn't give us children that are fully raised.
Yeah.
He gives us a project, and it's a big one. And so, the same thing happens with problems, is He's given you a project, and it's a big one. And I just told you almost all of what I teach, well, okay, about a third of what I teach, but, getting there, that's the hard part. So that's what I walk people through. I have
Mm.
a course and coaching and such.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, how could people, if someone's resonating with what you have to say today, or they too are, have a child that's walked away from them in their life, how could they connect with you? What's the easiest way?
I'm gonna tell you, but first I have to say one last thing. Apologies. I
No,
left this out. And this is that the most important thing you can do is to learn to thrive while you're waiting.
Mm.
There is purpose, there is meaning, there is hope, and that's what you need to learn how to do. And that is what I teach. Okay, so if you want to find out more, you can find me at maritwelker.com. Again, maritwelker.com. And you can find me on social media as Marit Welker, speaker and coach.
Awesome. This has been really, really good. Everyone, put comments down, give her some praise, because it's not an easy path that she's walked through. And if any of you are walking a similar path, our heart is with you. Feel free to comment below, and I'll make sure you get connected to her. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone, and for you for sharing your conversations like this, and reminding us all that healing is possible, that wholeness is possible, and that each of us has a calling on our lives. And we thank you all for being with us here today on Healed, Whole, and Called. Until next time.